Okay, hello and welcome to another week of conditioning for BrAMS. Unfortunately, the beach was booked for today, so I have had to hibernate up in my bedroom to do the class today. Oh no, no green screen, no fun today. But at least we can still get a good workout through the next hour or so. If you're part of the stream and you're online right now and you're seeing this, chances are you've been directed here straight from the beautiful people down at BrAMS. If you've not come from BrAMS, please be aware that this is a class for people with multiple sclerosis. It is a chair-based, for the most part, exercise class circuits built around the idea that we're improving range of motion, conditioning, confidence through various everyday motions, okay? Everything that we do does have various levels of challenge, and if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, there will be more levels that you can push yourself to. But for the most part, it's about coming along, taking part, doing the best that you can do today. We're not looking to build a massive sweat on. We're not looking to get the biggest workout in the entire world or anything like that. We're just looking to get continuous good reps through various motions, which will allow, over the course of time and good consistency, a change in our body's performance. Things you might need today, as I say, it's a chair-based class, so you may need a chair. I do recommend one with arms, okay? And the reason why I recommend one with arms is just that we can use the arms for extra support and pulling on and all those kinds of things should we need them. You're gonna need space, space around you, behind you, above you, so all the way around, so make sure you've got a nice bit of space. Make sure you've got some water. It's always good if you're getting a little bit flustered, a little bit hot, those kinds of things, to have some water to help with the internal body temperature, those kinds of things, nice cool fresh water. And that's about it. I do recommend, if you want to push yourself a little bit on some of the movements, that you have some weights. So that can be something just like baked bean cans or something like that, just something to add a little bit of extra resistance through various motions today. If you have any problems with your symptoms, then the best thing to do is to refer directly back to the neurologist, nurse, physio, whoever you're dealing with down at the BrAMS department. If you've got any problems with any of the movements that we're doing today, then I would recommend leaving a little message either in my inbox or in the comments on the video itself. And I can address them at a future point. Unfortunately, because we're upstairs out of the way, I don't have my computer, so I'm not going to be able to communicate with anybody during the class. I literally have a mobile phone up on the window, throwing this out there, so I can't even see the chat box or anything like that, so apologies for that. The chat box is there if you want to lay it down any messages at any point during the class, if you want to talk to the other people in the class, if you've got questions, those kinds of things as well. If you are watching on catch up or over on the YouTube channel, obviously that means nothing to you because I won't be talking back to those messages. Obvious thing is obvious. Okay, so fantastic. I think that's about it today. Yeah, brilliant. Let's get off to it, shall we? Let's just start warming up as best as we can. And we'll start nice and easy from the bottom of our legs. And all we're going to do is we're going to do circles with the ankle, okay? So maybe we've got the toe on the floor today, and we're just drawing circles with the heel, okay? So you keep doing that. I'm just going to adjust the camera. God, it's been so long since I did one of these classes with a camera on a window that I've got all my angles off. So drawing heels with, drawing circles with the heel as best we can. Let's go the opposite way as well. Concentrate on the heel more than anything else. And then we're going to bring that movement on up and then just start drawing circles with your knee, okay? So now the emphasis is on the knee, drawing that shape, that big shape as far as we can with the knee one way. And remember, every single movement, we're trying to get as much out of it as we can. Let's take it the opposite way as well. And nice and slow is the other thing that we want to do. We want to make sure that we have it in control. So even on that kind of down section of the circle, don't just let it drop down or anything like that. Try and maintain control throughout. Okay, let's go ahead and take ourselves to our upper body a little bit. So just hand on the shoulder, nice big circles forward. Once again, we're trying to maintain as much control as we can. Trying to keep our shoulder away from our ear, so we're not scrunching up or anything like that. Let's take that backwards as well, nice and in control. Let's bring it down to our wrist next, and what we're going to do is we're going to touch thumb to finger, thumb to finger. So if you can't see that because of the horrendous camera sizes today, this is what we're doing. Just thumb to finger. So we're switching it from finger to finger, thumb to finger. Okay. Next thing we're going to do, let's bring our elbow high to the side. Obviously stay in the chair. I'm just coming up so you can see it a little bit more. And we're just going to keep our hand out and almost do like a chicken wing movement, just up and down. We're only going as high as the shoulder, up and back down. But it's the elbow which is leading the way. And now we're going to keep it up and we're just going to rotate the shoulder from there. So now it's the hand going up and down. And the elbow is staying pretty much in the same place we're hoping. And then we just go into circles with the wrist. We do a couple of circles one way. And then we'll go the opposite way as well, waving to the crowds outside the window. Hello. Lovely, okay. Back down to the lower body again, and we're starting back down on the opposite side now. So drawing circles either with the heel. So the toe is staying on the floor. We're mobilizing the joints. All the muscles around those joints are getting a good bit of kind of, oh my gosh, I've got to get working kind of motion in them. Let's take those circles away, or maybe you're doing it leading with the toe, one of the ways round. It's completely up to you. But just as big as you can take that today. Onto the knee next. Once again, drawing circles with that knee. And throughout this, the warm-up, as well as the rest of the movements we're going to do today, one of the things we want to try and concentrate on is our posture, so making sure that our upper body is in that beautiful posture. Let's take the knee the opposite way around again. And if we can't take the leg off the floor, that's perfectly fine. Keep the toe on the floor, but this time the emphasis is on the knee drawing the circle rather than the heel. So yeah, posture, upper body posture, that kind of sitting up in assembly kind of thing. Straight back, arms across, that kind of, you know, upper body posture is what we're always keying on. Up to the upper body, so hand on the shoulder with a rotation round one way. Circle with the elbow, okay, forget about the shoulders, they're pushing down away from your ears, and it's that circle that's being driven, or wobbly shape, blancmange, whatever you're drawing with the elbow. And the opposite way as well. And then we're down to those thumb to finger situations, remember? All the way down. So we're just pinching, pinching, pinching. Pinching all the way down. And once you're doing it, try and get like you're trying to squeeze a grape or something like that. Squeezing a grape, that kind of thing. Lovely stuff. And then, remember, leading with the elbow again, like a chicken. That's what we're looking to do. Up, and then back down. So we're up, and then back down. Almost like a dog cocking its leg on a fire hydrant, something like that. Up to the side, up. That's a really horrendous analogy. Okay, and now we keep the elbow high, and then it's a rotation of the hand now. And now it's like we're breakdancing on the streets. Lovely stuff. And then down to the wrist, circles one way. Nice circles the other way as well. Brilliant. Okay, back down to the bottom again. Now we're trying to do it all in unison. So circles with either your heels or your toes. we're basically rolling those ankles through the biggest range of motion that we can today, all the way around one way. So either your heels are trying to work in unison and go around in those big beautiful circles, or those toes are drawing around in big beautiful circles together. Let's take them the opposite way as well. Lovely, okay. Knees next. Knees are going round in the same direction. Biggest range that you can take them. Remember, if we can take them off, let's see if we can, you know, sound effects are always welcome in my eyes. If someone's watching you do it and there are some amazing sound effects, please video it and send it in. Always a big fan of the sound effects. Let's take it the opposite way as well. Lovely stuff. Up to the upper body. Double hands on shoulders. Nice rotations one way. And we're going to go obviously ahead and we'll take those rotations the other way as well. Drawing circles or shapes with those elbows through the biggest range of motion that you can get through it today. You're almost squeezing those shoulder blades together at the back end of this. And now multitasking time with those fingers. We really want to see those fingers. So squeezing the grapes. I'm not going to make the sound effects this time. Squeezing the fingers together as much as you can throughout. And we are trying to coordinate them. So it's the same fingers on both hands. If you've got it nailed easily, try doing it with your eyes closed. You know, that kind of thing. Lovely stuff. Okay, now we're doing the double chicken wing. So drawing those elbows high. Elbows high. And those wrists are up just as high as the elbows, okay? But it's the elbows which are leading the way more than anything else. Then we keep the elbows up, and then it's a double rotation of the palm now. There you go. Right through the shoulder. Then with double wrist spins around one way. Double wrist spins around the other way as well. Excellent stuff. Okay, so we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 movements today that we're going to look at. Some of them are new, some of them are old, but they're all going to be tremendous amounts of fun. So, before we get started, 2 things to take into account. First and foremost, posture. Okay, when I talk about posture, for the most part, I'm talking from the hip up. Okay, so when we look at it from the side, and I talked about putting your shoulders back and down, you see how the chest rotates forward, the shoulders are rotating back a little bit, like you are sitting in assembly trying to get out first in the class. If that's really difficult to kind of try and program your mind to do, you can just take your hands behind your back and just push them down and away. And that's going to start to help you feel about what we want from that upper body posture, okay? Just that pushing down and away. So upper body posture. So any of the movements that we do today, or you do today, if your posture is breaking down, okay, don't try and make it more difficult. Try and perfect the movement with that good posture position, okay? Good posture position, key. Second thing to talk about is just a nice easy way for you to make all of the movements, or the majority of the movements we're going to do today, a little bit more challenging in the balance department, okay? Now we're obviously sat in the chair for the majority of our movements today. If you want to add an increasing element of challenge and difficulty, it's just about shifting your bum from the back of the seat towards the front of the seat, okay? As your bum comes closer to the front of the seat, we're taking more weight on the feet, we're having to balance and stabilize a lot more using our legs. So if you're finding one of the movements we're doing nice and easy, then you start shifting that bum towards the front of the seat so you're perching on the side. The other thing to take into consideration whilst you're doing that is how close your feet are together. If your feet are wide apart, it means we've got a nice wide base, very good for stability and balance. So maybe by the time you first get that bum to the end of your seat, you start with the legs wider apart. As you want to progress, you bring those legs closer together. We close our base. There's a lot more kind of challenging aspect here for the balance situation. And the final thing that you can do to challenge it is if you just go toe to heel. So you've got feet stacked one in front of the other. That's going to be as challenging as you can get with the movement. So if you're perched on the edge of the seat, toe to heel, that's about as challenging as you can take this kind of postural movement to make the moves more challenging for you. So keep thinking about that through all the different movements. The way we're going to work, we're going to go 45 seconds on, 75 seconds off. I'll explain the next movements to you in our rest periods. First one we're going to deal with, as always, is going to be that sit to stand. So depending on where you are with your sit to stand process, remember, take it easy, find out where you are today, and then continue to do the movements nice and in control through the 45 seconds. So what we're looking to do is get the bum out of the seat first and foremost. So out of the seat, boom, and back down. We're trying to get the weight from being supported on our bums to be supported through the feet. So we're shifting the weight forward and coming up. So that's our base movement today, is just getting up onto the feet. If we can get a bum raise using our hands and our body weight to shift onto our feet with a little push, great. Once we're happy with that, with shifting our weight onto our feet, that's when we bring the standing part in it as well as we push on up, okay? Regardless of what you're doing, remember, posture is king, also controlling the downward motion as well. Okay, 45 seconds once I start the stopwatch, 3, 2, 1, and we're off. 45 seconds, so let's get after it, shall we? So remember, everything that we're doing today is based on perfect or as close to perfect a rep as we can do. Okay, we're not looking for speed, we're not looking to smash out as many reps as you can get through in the time. It really is just controlling it, both the upward section and the down. So one of the key things I always talk about is thinking about a rhythm. So 1, 2, it's taking me up to get to my position, 1, 2, back down. Whatever you find you're doing, do it rhythmically, so the up is just as controlled and slow as the back down. 45 seconds are up, brilliant, first one done. Okay, next motion we're going to do is just to go as close to our opposite ankle as we can. So from whichever body position you're sat in, so chair position you're sat in, you're just going from one hand, we start up high, and we're just going to go down towards the ankle on the opposite side, and then back. And then we raise the opposite hand, we're bringing it down towards the ankle as close as we can get to it, and then back up. We're aiming as far as we can to the opposite side of the ankle, okay? So if we're just getting down to the shin, great. If we're only just able to get to the knee, whatever it is for you today, we're just looking to extend towards the floor side as best we can. Obviously, if you're finding that quite easy, then you start to shift the bum towards the end of the seat, okay? And then it's all about controlling it down, controlling it back up. Think about that rhythm. However long it takes to go down, let's see if we can match that rhythm coming back up. Okay, and we're going to go 45 seconds, changing arms, starting in 3, 2, 1, and off we go. So this is a nice, slow, controlled movement. I want you to sit up straight after every repetition. Oh, I'm not going high to start with. And then down. And then back up. Raising your hand. Hi, miss, I've got a question. All the way down as far as you can go. And then nice and controlled back up. And we're up. I'm going to time it this time. 1, 2 seconds down. 1, 2 seconds back up. Going high. Hi, miss, I've got a question. All the way down. And then all the way back up. You got 5 seconds. That's probably enough time for one more good repetition. There we go, time. All right, next one we're going to do is to do with our knees. And we're looking to move our knees through the highest range of motion that we can do today. That includes using our hands, okay? So, whatever our range of motion is with our knees, great. We know what that is. What I want you to do today is I want you to use your hands to support your range of motion and see if we can increase it even further. So remember, as we talked about with the last two movements, everything we're doing is nice and slow and controlled. So that doesn't mean just dropping your foot back down, raising the foot. If we want to pull it in a little bit more, and then it's slowly back down, and then we change legs. Okay, up, and then slowly back down. Remember, we've got our depth on the chair to change the challenge factor. And certainly, if we're towards the edge of that seat, as soon as we take one of these legs off the floor, we're really having to control our balance, our core, our body position, all those kinds of things. Okay, so high knee movement, nice and high, arm support if we need to and if we want to. Ready for 45 seconds, 2, 1, and we're off. So remember, try and get the biggest range of motion you can without support first. Then bring the arms in to do a little bit of extra pulling should you need to, okay? Think about your posture. We want your posture set. As soon as you feel your posture break down, that's the end of your repetition. So, here's my knee up, bit of arm support, my posture's not broke down. But if we look at it something like this and we pull and we break the posture, that's the end of the rep. Let's get back down to the floor. Let's work on squeezing that core nice and tight, keeping those shoulders actively pushing into our back pockets to support good body posture as we move those legs. 1, there you go. There's your 45 seconds. Nailed. All right, next movement is a new one. It's all about this kind of skydive position, if you will, or surprise, or something along those lines, okay? So what we're looking to do is keeping our palms higher than our elbows the entire time, okay? And we're just looking to almost like open up wings like this, okay? That's our movement with our arms. Nice and easy, right? What we're going to do is we're just going to lean forward and do it for us. So this is one of those ones where we've got a little bit of core work stabilizing and holding our position. Remember, we're driving the shoulder blades into the back pocket. If you're using weights, if you've got cans, those kinds of things, this is a great one for you to be able to hold on to those cans, pulling those cans high from there. Okay, so that's all we're looking to do, is we're setting our seat. Remember your depth, how far out your legs are, how far away from the back of the chair your bum is, and then we're going to bend our way over. Good posture. We're not rounding the back down. And once we've bent over, the core's engaged, we open up the parachute. 3, 2, 1, let's go. 45 seconds. So we're staying bent over the entire time throughout the range of motion. We're trying not to have our shoulders coming anywhere near our ears. Remember, the palms and the wrists are always higher than your elbows. And you're really squeezing those shoulder blades together at the top of the movement. Keep breathing. Keep that core nice and tight. Keep that upper body position bent over. We're hinged at the hip. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Lovely stuff. All right, you've got 2, 3 more to go. 2 regulars and 1 new movement. First one we've got is the side floor touch. Let me spin them round to the side to start with. Wherever you're sat with your good posture, you're literally just trying to touch the floor under your bum. Okay? So it's a sideways movement like a pendulum. And you're just going to take yourself down as far as we can towards that floor. Okay? We're trying to keep your butt in the seat the entire time. Okay? So if you feel your butt cheek raise, that's the end of your range of motion. Reset, do the opposite side. So shoulders to hips, we're trying to stay in the same line straight down throughout. Okay. Added challenge factor, obviously shifting the bum to the end of the seat. We know that one, that's the standard one. Added challenge factor is as you're coming down, bringing the opposite arm over the top as well. It's going to add a little bit more into the side. It's going to add more of your weight into the movement. So it's going to be a little bit more challenging to bring it back. 45 on the clock. Let's go. So it's all nice and controlled. It's slow and steady. Purposeful movements is what we're looking for. Those glutes, those bum cheeks, they are firmly rooted into the chair. Okay, don't let them come off. Try and keep as much weight through the backside one, so the opposite side of where you're moving, as much as you can. Okay, maybe we're coming on down and that arm's coming over as well. When the arm is coming over, you're still keeping the butt cheeks on the floor. So don't use that as an excuse just because you're extending the movement, making it more challenging to not do it correctly. There's our time. Okay, so far so good. Nobody's fallen off their seats, which is, I'm assuming, which is great. Calf raises are next. So this is one of the only movements that we really do out of the chair. Should you want to, should you need to add that extra challenge factor for you, okay? If we're doing it in the chair or out of the chair, the movement is exactly the same. You're just looking to raise those heels as high as you can whilst keeping the balls of your feet on the floor. So go ahead and stack those ankles right under the knees. Good posture. We're sat up straight, however deep in the chair that we should feel like we should be. And it's up. There's a hold at the top and then back down. Up. There's a hold at the top and then back down, okay? Always a pause at the top. So when we talk about those rhythms, maybe with this movement it's 1 second up, 2 second hold, 1 second back down, something along those lines. If we're doing it out of the chair or leaning over a table or something along those lines, like I say, it's exactly the same movement. Good upper body posture and then back down. Off we go. It's 45 seconds. So I'm just starting out the chair to start with. And it's very important that we control it on the way down, remember. 1, 2. I've gone 2 seconds up. Holding for 2 seconds, and then I'm going 2 seconds down. But notice my posture is still set throughout. There's lots of different movements. We're attacking different muscles, all those kinds of things. Challenging your mobility, your confidence. But the key thing through all of them is good posture. One of the important things is good posture through movement. There's no point, 2, 1, there we go. There's no point getting strong through various muscles and things like that if we can't do it with correct posture. If we're going to do it, let's get it done right, shall we? Okay. And the last one we're going to do is we're just going to work on the pelvic tilt. Okay, so pelvic tilt, pelvis being this big, massive muscle all around here that your butt's attached to. And all we're going to do is a slight little tilt on this. Tilt meaning, obviously, it's going to move this way and that way. So how we're going to do this is find the back of your chair, sit up straight, okay, and then shifting your bum forward, okay? We've got good posture, butt cheeks on the floor. And then all I'm going to ask you to do is keeping your butt cheeks in the same position is to tilt back. So you sit in the chair, so your back's hitting the chair, and then sitting up straight again, okay? So we're tilting back, the bum staying in the same position, our back hits the back of the chair, and then we sit on up again. You can shift forward a little bit more, butt stays in place. We basically crumple all the way back into the chair, trying not to use our arms, trying to use the core to sit up straight again. Okay, 45 seconds, let's go. And there's the tilt, and then we back up. So we're sitting up straight away from the back of the chair, bum staying where it should be. We collapse into the chair, and then we're sitting up again. Boom, sitting up nice and straight. Collapsing into the chair, we hit the back, and then we're sitting up straight. If you need that extra support to bring you out of it, you've maybe got arms on your chairs, maybe hands on the knees, something like that. But we're up, we're collapsing, Pelvis is tilted and we sit in back up. There we go, lovely, 45 seconds done. All right, so those are our 7 movements. We're going to go through that once again. And what we're going to do this time is we're going to change it ever so slightly. We're going to go 60 seconds worth of work with 60 seconds rest. Okay, now what I want you to concentrate on, like I said right at the beginning, is this is about perfect repetitions. So we're giving you a little bit longer, because what I want you to do, it's not about fitting more reps into those 15 seconds. It's about completing more perfect reps in the movement, okay? So the first one, for example, with your sit to stands, you may do exactly the same amount in 45 seconds as you do in the 1 minute. But the ones that you're doing in a minute's time have a little bit more quality to them, okay? So the first movement, like I say, is sit to stand, okay? Ready to go in 5 seconds. Remember, we're either just raising the butt, getting our weight from our bum to our feet, or we're standing all the way up. 60 seconds, let's go. Keying posture, remember. Nice, slow and controlled. If you're taking 6 seconds a rep, let's say, that's only 10 repetitions I'm asking you to do in 60 seconds. Okay, just under 10. So it really is quality over quantity. Squeezing the glutes, forcing my weight onto my feet. Maybe I'm then standing on out of the chair. Remember, once again, it's slowly back in. We're squatting down, and then we shift our weight back into the chair. Once again, shifting our weight all the way forward. Maybe we've got the arms of the chairs that we're pushing on up as we stand, and then all the way back down. Remember, it's your journey today, so we're only going as far as you go. If that's just working on shifting the weight from the chair to our feet, just work on that with that good drawn back shoulder position. That's good. That's our first round done. Excellent. Hey, 60 seconds isn't so bad. It's only an extra 15 seconds. It's not too bad, is it? Extra 33%. Okay. Remember to take drinks if you need it. Maybe give someone a high five. Move the cat out of the way. Those kinds of things. Anyway, twist to the ankles next. So remember, we're setting our distance where we're happy to be. And then we're taking ourselves from seated, raising our hand, bringing our hand down to the opposite side of that ankle, and then back on up. Then we do the opposite side, raise our hands, bringing it down as far as we can go, biggest range of motion, back up. And then we start shifting our weight further away from the backs of our seat. Okay, 60 seconds, let's go. Once again, you're taking about 5 to 6 seconds per repetition. If it's all controlled, if it's all nice and slow, you're talking about 10 or so reps throughout. Which isn't so bad when you think about it. So let's just time on my reps, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, about 8 seconds. Look at that. So that means I'm going to be doing probably about 6 or 7 repetitions, given the time of rest in between. All nice and slow, all nice and controlled through your range of motion today. You've got just under 10 seconds left. Nice big breaths. Out as we go down, in as we come back up. And time. Good. All right, we're back to that knee movement one as well. So this is about, if you remember, keying on our posture. Our posture dictates our range of motion, and we are just looking to raise those knees as high as we can. Once we've done it as much as we can under their own steam, let's use those hands just to bring it a little bit more, whether it's hands on the front to pull it on up, or hands underneath to pull it on up, whatever that will be. But as soon as we move away from that kind of set posture, that's the end of our rep. So what we're doing by adding this little pull in, not only are we putting a bit of code back up to the brain about a range of motion that's there that could possibly use, but also we're fighting to really key our posture. So we've got a bit of core work going on to keep us nice and stable as we're pulling a weight towards us. Okay, so we're going 60 seconds, 3, 2, 1, off we go. And remember, whatever you're doing towards the body, we want the same going away. Even as an extra challenge, I guess what you could do is fully control the leg all the way down. So if you are supporting the leg and bringing it up higher, by bringing it down from a higher range of motion than we're used to, it's going to put in a little bit of extra work, put a bit of extra code in the brain as well. Posture is key, remember. And if you want to add that extra challenge, bum towards the end of the seat, remember. That's always there to allow you to fine-tune the difficulty. The other thing you might want to do is bring your bum towards the end of the seat, the back of the seat a little bit more. Maybe it's a little bit too challenging. Shift that bum for challenge and reducing the challenge. 2, 1, there you go. Knee movement's done. Okay, we're back to that fly movement in that hip hinge position. So remember, we are setting our posture right and we are bending on over. So I really do recommend kind of however you're sat, stacking your ankles under your knees, okay? And then it's shoulders back and down, remember our good back position, and you're folding down. You're forcing the shoulders back the entire time, okay? And then once you get to your position, wrists higher than the elbows, and then it's a squeeze because those shoulder blades are squeezed together, and then they come back down to the beginning. So we're opening up like we're parachuting, whee, and then back down. And you are just going to pause at the top with the clench before we release. Off we go, 60 seconds. Good squeeze. Trying to keep that head up, looking in front of you, okay? So we have hinged at the hip. That core is working to hold our body position. Try and keep that head high and back down. Opening up like we're parachuting, whee! And back down. Bonus points for sound effects. Think about the timings. 1, 2, holding it for 1, 2, 1, 2, back down. If you notice any lower back pain, lumbar area, do come off, do give it a soften up, those kinds of things before coming back into it. Lumbar pain when you are doing movements which require spine stabilizations sometimes will suggest that the core is fatigued. 2, 1, time. If the core is fatigued, that means the core is no longer supporting the spinal area, which means that the stress is being put onto the bone rather than anything else. So through any of your movements, if you find, like I say, you have any pain roughly around this kind of lumbar position, lower back, relax, stop, move back, shake it on out, those kinds of things, reset and try again. Remember, we don't work through pain anywhere apart from mild discomfort within muscles themselves. And it's pretty obvious where muscles are because you can get a good old grope of them. Okay, what did we just do? We did a butterfly. Side floor touch, the pendulum. Back to the pendulum then. So remember, setting our bum position, maybe heel to toe. Good body posture. And we're just touching the floor to the side by our bum. So we're not reaching forward. We're not coming round to where our feet are. It's quite literally down by our hips. Off we go. Remember, if you're adding that extra balance, that little factor, that arm over as well, if we want to challenge it. And once again, you know what I'm going to say? Nice, slow, and controlled. You could almost have a drinking game based off of this class, couldn't you? Take a drink every time he says posture. Take a drink every time he says nice and slow and in control. There we go. 30 seconds through. And as everything else, think about the timing. So 1, 2, 3 to the end of my range of motion. Slowly back up. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going the opposite way. 1, 2, 3. And then back. 1, 2, 3. Lovely stuff. 2, 1. Side, floor touches, done. Let's look at the heel, the heel raises, the calf raises, whatever you want to call them. And completely missed my mouth. Same situation as always. So we are just trying to bring those heels really, really high. We're looking to squeeze those calves at the top of our range of motion. Remember, bum towards the end of the seat, more challenge. From a standing position, it's more challenging as well. But we're keying on posture. We want good posture regardless of how you're doing it. We're trying to keep our ankles under the knees, up, and a hold, and then back down. So let's see if we can hold it longer than it takes the movement itself. Okay, so I'm going 1 second up, 2 second hold, and I'm going to go 3 second hold, 1 second back down. Off we go, 60 seconds. That gives me a nice, easy, cool 5 second rep range, which means I'm only doing 12 repetitions, which, I mean, after 2 or 3 really good heel raises, those calves certainly do feel the work. 1, 2, 3, slowly back down. 1, 2, 3, slowly back down. And this is another one, if you're not comfortable out of the seat, the balance factor is not something you like, and you've got to the end of the seat and you want more challenge, you can put your bean cans on your knees. Okay, that is you adding weight, adding extra resistance to your movement. Okay, so there are lots of times when you can do different movements and add that weight to increase the resistance before you have to get out and add any more balance. 3, 2, 1, lovely. Okay, and the last movement of the day then is going to be the pelvic tilt. Okay, so remember, let's get back to the side view. We're not sitting our bums right at the back of the seat. We're going to shift our bum forward a little bit, set the ankles under the knees, bum stays in position, we slouch on back into the chair. Okay, we've tilted our pelvis, and what we're looking to do now from this slanted position is to power on up into a seated posture position. Okay, so we're slouching on back, that pelvis is tilting, and then we're up nice and tall. Okay, we got to slouch. We've just been told off in class, sit up straight, but not so jerky. Okay, nice and controlled, off we go. So that's what we're doing, collapsing, tilting the pelvis, feeling the back of the chair, then sitting up. We can take ourselves a little bit further if we want to, for a greater range of motion, but always, always nice and slow and in control. You can use the arms of your legs. Nope, you can use the arms of the chairs, because that would be really weird if your legs had arms. Arms of the chairs for extra supports coming out of it if you need to. If you've got no arms, you can use your knees for a little bit of extra support into that straight back position. 15 seconds to go. Collapsing into the chair, powering on up, chest forward. 3, 2, 1. There you go, lovely. All right, well done, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Thank you very much for today. Let's do some stretching from the chair, shall we? Just to target a few places that we've done a little bit of work. So we're going to start down at the bottom of the body. And the first thing I'm going to ask you to do, I need to have my chair on a swivel, don't I? Is the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is just take your feet, so your toes mainly, underneath the chair, okay? And then all I'm going to ask you to do is try and push your heels to the floor, okay? So, just like that. So now I'm just You can see how they're slightly under my chair, and I'm just pushing them down towards the floor. Good posture. We're just putting a little minor stretch into the calves. And then I'm going to ask you just to move your feet slightly further forward. And this time I'm going to ask you to bring your toes high. Okay? So we were pressing our heels down, and now we're pulling our toes high from a slightly different position. Same good posture, sitting on up. And then let's continue to move our feet further forward. And as we get our feet as far forward as we can, heels on the floor, toes pointing forward. If we can get those feet flat on the floor, great. I just want you to maintain a good upper body posture and just forward fold. At some point you're going to bend on over. That's as far as I want you to go. Now, depending on where you're sat on the chair, okay, this will feel very differently. If you are sat with your thighs on the chair, you'll probably start to feel a little bit of tightness in your hamstrings because they're starting to engage and starting to stretch as we bend on over. And obviously you've got the chair underneath you, so you very much feel it. If you're parked just your bum on the edge of the seat doing this, you're probably just going to notice a little bit more of the stretch, okay? And especially if you put your hands on it, you can certainly feel the tightness going on there. Okay, we're going to sit back up. We're going to bring one leg back. Keep that forward foot out as far as you can. This back foot, just like the front foot, we're trying to keep the whole foot on the floor. And we're going to just forward fold into that one more time. Remember, whatever your posture is for you today, that's what you're looking to do. So just keep that flat back as you forward fold into it. We're just going to hold that for a few seconds. We've got a little bit in on the calf, maybe you've got a little bit in the glute, maybe you've got a little bit in your hamstring. Depending on where you're tight will be where you feel this most. And then I want you to collapse your posture and bend that back as well. So this should probably bring it a little bit more onto your hamstrings. And then we bring ourselves all the way back out and swap our lead foot. Okay, so now the other foot is forward, flat on the floor as best we can. Remember, posturing down to start with. Once the posture's starting to break, that's where we hold it to start with. And we just hold it for about 5 seconds or so. And then we're going to break our entire posture and lean forward just that little bit more. Good stuff. Let's bring ourselves out of it. Okay. Let's cross our legs one way. So we start with our feet in our normal position, ankles under knees. Pop one leg over the other. Then we're going to use our elbow to drive across that knee. Okay, so we're just pushing it over even further, and at the same time turning the opposite way. Now you can use the back of your chair to pull yourself around a little bit more should you want to, but you're forcing the knee away from you as you're turning around. Try and keep both butt cheeks on the seat itself. And if you take a nice big deep breath in, and on the exhale, see if you can just take it just a little bit further. Okay, let's bring ourselves back. Let's unravel and do the same the opposite way. So this time the knee's going over the other side, driving that knee into it and opening up the opposite way. Both the butt cheeks stay on the seat as best we can. And then we bring it on back to the middle. Good stuff. Okay, let's take our hands behind the back this time. So what we're looking to do is just put those hands directly behind the back, maybe shuffle all the way back into your seat. But good posture still, you sat up straight, hands behind the back, pushing down and away from the shoulder blades. So it's just an exaggerated kind of movement. It's going to pull out on our chest a little bit. There's little bits and bobs in our shoulders, which you're going to get a little bit of a movement here as well. But this is one of those ones that really helps with an exaggerated kind of look into good body posture. So that chest push is firing forward, that kind of thing. And now we're going to go to the opposite side of things and open the back up a little bit. So we just bring our hands forward, linking those hands, pushing the shoulders forward. As we do, we dive the head down into the hole. Now, as a bonus, if you want to, we can go into that pelvis tilt as well, rounding the back just a little bit as we're pushing forward. Only if it's comfortable, otherwise do stay up in your straight back position. Good stuff. Okay. Now, looking at our arm next, let's take it up at shoulder level. And it's just going to come straight across the body. When we can't get it across the body any further, hug it in. Okay? So do try and do that. Bring it all the way across, free hand. As soon as you can't do it anymore, then you hug it on in. Okay? Try and get the hand that's doing the hugging towards your ear, if you can. And then we're going to go the opposite way as well, all the way out, rolling across the body, and then just pull it on in. Lovely stuff. Okay, thank you very much then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is a online video, so please, if you've been by, leave us a like. It literally takes 3 seconds to like the video. Not even 3 seconds. Like the video, and that's whether you're doing it live or you're doing it on catch-up, okay? Anything that you would like to see from the classes more, there might be certain things that you have problems with day-to-day life, and you think, oh, maybe I should do a little bit of training to help me with that, whether it's a strength thing, a coordination thing, a mobility thing, something along those lines. If there's anything you'd like to see more or have help with, do let me know, because the chances are, if it's going to help you and improve your quality of life, it's going to help other people who have been prescribed this class as well. So it's very easy for us to add in bits and bobs. The only thing I've ever been asked to add in was like the the bar last week for our surroundings. So that's pretty weird. Movement patterns, yeah, brilliant. If you are watching on YouTube or you are watching the video on catch up, then please leave us a little message. Let us know when you've been by as well. Always great to see when people are using the videos. Additionally, here's a new one. If you are using a YouTube video, which is maybe the second movement pattern that you've done a week, something along those lines, the second class you've done a week, let me know in the comments, okay? So yes, I did the live class on Wednesday and I've just done this as a second class this week, or a third class. That's what it's there for. Consistency in life is what makes changes to the body, okay? Doing a class once a week does some good, yes, great. But to see good progress, to see confidence and your brain's capability to use the body, is things that have to be done consistently, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, those kinds of things. That's why kids go to class 5 days a week and all those kinds of things, so they can practice the same things over and over again. As always, if you've got any problems with your condition, any of your symptoms, please refer back to the neurologists, the nurses or the physios you're dealing with down at the beautiful BrAMS class. Give them a high five, send them an email, let them know you're thinking of them. Probably not. Liv's probably got a lot on her plate. She probably doesn't need. But anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll be back. Hopefully, we'll be at the beach next week for another class on Wednesday, 11:30. Bye. Boom. I can't turn it off.